Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy, and I'm here in very sunny Baja, Mexico at our, we call her Casa Namaste. And I wanted to share with you a joint balancing practice, some movements that I've been practicing myself and sharing with my students for the last while, with the intention of balancing the joint body. So finding both Sthira, stability, and Sukha, ease, mobility, um, and the understanding too of being more neutral in our joints. So I have, as you can see, maybe see, quite small and tight joints. So I was noticing before my practice, I was often going into a place of strain or pain or even injury. And since working with these movements, I notice that's not happening. So maybe you'll take something from this, maybe you won't. It's certainly not my own creation, from lots of different teachers. One in particular, actually, I'd like to acknowledge. His name is Rocky Heron, and I met him virtually through Yoga International. Um, Anyways, so you're welcome to follow along. I'm going to start on my back, and hopefully you can hear me. So when you come onto your back, it's nice to start with some gentle asana movement, knee to chest in a way. And then letting the knees open wide and circling around and back in. Nice big circles into the hip joints. And as we know, a lot of the yoga postures are dependent on our hips, very large hip joints, both directions. And tightness or weakness in hip joints can show up in sacral issues, sacroiliac joint issues, SI, in knees, in feet, in shoulders. It's all connected, both directions. And then arms and legs up just to circle, to swirl into the joint of the wrists and the ankles in both directions. And let your feet come down quite wide apart for windshield wiping side to side. We start to take the femur head in the hip joint through internal and external rotation. And then the next piece is called sweeping circle. So I'll start slow and then we can find our own pace. So going over to the right, pick your left foot and knee up and circle it right up towards your head, your face, and then take it all the way out to the left. So that's really out, external rotation, and then roll it back in and up and around. So going through this range of motion in the hip joint. Now we can also add the shoulder to sweep the arm up and around. And we'll change that to the other side, taking the right leg up and over and around. Really feel how you can move the femur head and the hip joint through internal rotation, external rotation. Now we can bring the right arm up and around into the shoulder joint. And come back to center, hug the knees. So the next piece will be rocking up and down on the spine. Nice warm up for the joints in the spine. I'm going to cross, got the right ankle in front of the left. I'll do the first one with my hands to stand up. And once I come up, I just get in a little side bend and then go back down and again. Left ankle in front, coming up. And we'll do that again, both sides. And then we can stay up on our mat here and work. We'll work from the feet up the body. So step forward with your right foot. And the first one is just in the ankle to roll to the pinky toe edge of the ankle or the foot. So that's, I believe it's supination. And then as we stay flat on the right foot, let's take the left arm and make some circles up, back, and around. In both ways, both directions. Take it up, back, and around, and then forward and across, and keeping the arm straight. Make some circles around. So more of a strengthening around the shoulder joint for this one. Both directions. And then flip onto the top of your left foot. Could be painful. And let's move the shoulder blade through, bringing it up, drawing it in towards the spine, pulling it down towards the earth, and then out. So you bring it up through elevation, draw it in, retraction, down, depression, and then protraction. Finding that full range of motion in the shoulder joint. And then just a slight, so still on the top part of the left foot, but let the left heel turn a bit out to the left. And we'll do that movement opposite direction. So we start down, the shoulder blade out, up, and in. Just a couple of times. Foot's probably had enough. Then you can bring that knee up, keep your hip bones, your pelvis neutral, and play with in and out, internal rotation, external rotation through your left hip joint. Feel which one doesn't feel as balanced. So for me, the internal one feels tighter. Keep the leg in that position, straighten the leg, and make some circles. So as you can probably feel if you're trying this, you're strengthening through the right side to not fall over. And then the other way. And then put that foot down. So let's just switch over. Left foot forward to roll out many times. So we balance the rotation, the movement ability in our ankle joint. As you know, the feet are a very important part of our daily life, our major root source of our practice, especially our standing poses. So onto the foot, I'm just taking the right arm around a few times. In both directions. Take it up and around and flip onto the top of the right foot, shoulder blade moving up, in, down, out. Maybe noticing the side feels a little clunkier for me this morning. And then you can just flip so your heel's slightly turned out to the right and take it the opposite direction. So down, in, up, out. Oh, I think I forgot this one. So the straight arm, circles, both directions. And then we bring that forward to turn out, in. Maybe it's different on this side for you. Maybe that feels clunky or this, or maybe if it feels pretty balanced, just pick the rotation you want to do your circles with. As you can see, I'm a little unstable on this left leg, hip, both directions. Good. And then walk your feet just a little bit wider so you can roll into the big toe edge of one foot, pronation, and the other. Back to both feet. So my feet are pretty close together, and the movement of the knees forward, side, back, and around. So I just take this one super, I'm very gentle and not pushing my knees back. And of course, always, if any movement you're doing doesn't feel right, the other direction, don't do it, modify it. Always looking for the balance, Sthira and Sukha. Effort, surrender, stability, ease. And then we can take it up into kind of like a cat-cow. The movement in the through the pelvis and the lower back, and then out to one side, back to the other, and around. So we make a big circle around, and in both directions. And then back into the hips. So when you bring your right leg forward, this time you take it out to the side, and keep going back around, and then you'll have to turn it inwards and kick your foot up. So trying that a few times to take it all the way out, roll it in. And sometimes I add, if I've warmed up enough with my practice, I can take that into a bit of a Naturan Jasana, or even into an eagle. So you can play with these movements into your practice, your posture practice. So we go out, around, and up, out, and around, and up. Maybe into dancer or Natranjasana, maybe an eagle. Good. So up into the side body, reaching through the side body side to side. Then as you go over to one side, you can take it into a side bend. To move through the upper thoracic spine in cat-cow.
Just a nice way to bring some variation into the movement of cat-cow. And then the thumbs, so fingers curled in, thumbs circling around, moving into our shoulder joints. I'm doing that in both directions. Explore the wrists, so shoulders relaxed, fingers curled in. You can take that into circles, in both directions. And then turning the fists in towards one another. Movement of the wrist joint. And then opening the hands. So palms facing away. Go up and down into the elbow joint. And then just a variation. So we can turn the palms to face us and away. To face us and away. Keep moving into the shoulder joints. This is called the pranic bath for the shoulder joints. We take the hands up overhead. Touch at the back, and then a big circle around in your peripheral vision. It's pranic bath to take the shoulders through their full range of motion. And then we'll go back into the hands to work through the finger joints. So moving sequentially from thumb to pinky, from pinky to thumb. Let's take the fingers in, out. You can change. You can start with the pinkies, go to thumbs. Just a little shake out. So move up into the neck. The hands can just give a little traction on the collarbones. So you look down and up. So flexion, extension in the neck. And then just side to side. And let your hands go. Let the right ear go over towards the right shoulder. Look down towards the right shoulder. Leading with your chin, draw it up and across. Left ear towards left shoulder, look. And lead with the chin. Almost like we're tracing a big figure eight in the sky with our chin. And then bring the head to neutral. So I just want to share one more, sort of gone from feet up to head, but I wanted to show you one more piece on the ground, working more into the hip joints, these very big joints that we rely on for stability in standing poses, for mobility in a lot of the postures. So come down, if you're following me, back onto your seat. And you can start with the windshield wiper movement again. And then if you want to play with working from a little more Sthira, you can take your hands up from the ground. And you can add some variations. You can go into a bend towards the earth. And you can even take it up into ballet. And a similar movement with the legs out
to roll in the hip joint in and out. So one rolls in, one rolls out. Again, with or without the use of your hands for support. And same thing, you can bring that around into your bow, side to side. And up into a ballet sweep. And then the last one, which I'm still practicing, it's very tricky for me. If your knees allow you to stand on them, try to walk on your mat, leading with one knee and then the other knee. And once you get to the top, you can work your way back. Yeah, so something like that. Think of it as bring a playful nature to the movements, play with your own variations. Yeah, that's sort of a quick tour of the joint play, the joint balancing practices that I teach to my students and practice myself. So thank you for joining me today. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.